Mario Party meets the stock market. That's the easiest way to describe Fortune Street. Way back in 2011 when this game was first announced, I was incredibly happy because it brought together the Mario franchise and the Dragon Quest franchise. And to be honest, I never thought that would happen unless somehow they actually did make a Mario RPG 2, in which case maybe they would throw Dragon Quest characters in there, but that's a topic for another time. Fortune Street has been around in Japan for a long time, but this is the first release in North America. And for gamers, it was an interesting play. It was like Mario Party, but not like Mario Party. You still went around a board, but you weren't collecting stars, you were collecting stocks from a stock market? And I think that's where the game started to lose people. But that being said, it's actually still a pretty fun game, but you can't look at it as a Mario Party game, and that's not a really good way to describe or represent the game. Fortune Street at its core is about getting properties and making money. After you pick your characters and levels, you're going to go around the game board rolling dice like you would in Mario Party, but landing on properties like you would in maybe Monopoly. When you land on a space and no one has taken it yet, you can buy it. And once you buy it, you have that property as your own, and if someone else lands on it, a la Monopoly one more time, they owe you money. So you go around the game board, do this, till you get all of the money, and that's kind of how the game ends. Once someone has enough money to meet a threshold you set before the game actually starts, or if everyone else gets bankrupt, you win. But it's a bit more complicated than that, and that's where Fortune Street probably lost a lot of people. Considering this game is on the Wii, and the Wii was a huge market for casual gamers, young people, people that had never played a game before, this game would have been totally lost on them. And to be perfectly honest, it was almost totally lost on me. I did not understand the first few times me and my friends were playing it, what exactly was going on. That being said, it was actually really interesting, and after a game or two, we really wanted to play another night. If I had to describe the game in one word, it would be overwhelming. Right when you start, there's so much stuff going on and you have no idea what is happening. The game almost assumes you've read a manual or played it before or just have an innate idea of how stock markets, interest, and then moving around properties works. Considering most of us don't have that, you're going to spend a lot of time just learning the ropes of the game. Oh, and you might want to play with friends, even though the game asks you constantly if you just want to play by yourself. If you play with the computer is ruthless. They will destroy you. They just seem to get crazy lucky and land in all the right places. So after you've played a few rounds and understand how the game works, you'll probably start to have fun with it. Fortune Street isn't like other multiplayer party games. I don't know if I'd even call it a party game. It's kind of in a league all its own. Assuming you can gather 3 other friends who want to play and spend the near 2 hours it takes to actually beat the game, you'll probably have a good time. It's very, very unique. My friends and I had a good time going around the game board, buying properties from one another, screwing each other over, raising the capital on one area so it would be an incredibly high market place, and if someone lands there, it's like landing on Boardwalk with hotels. They're kind of screwed. It was actually kind of fun. Once the action picked up, you could see how the game was a franchise. It started to work well with each other, everything meshed together, and it was really fun to see someone gain a lot of money only to lose it later on your properties, rising and falling of neighborhoods. It was pretty cool. Visually, the game is kind of lacking, and this is kind of where the comparison to Mario Party comes into play again. Even the newest Mario Party games have a lot of details going on in the background. There's stuff moving around, there's characters that you can interact with, there's other things happening, all kinds of stuff. But in Fortune Street, you're kind of just flying there, which is almost ironic when you think about it. I mean, the game has street in the title, but there are no streets. You're just walking around like these little spaces in the sky, and below you is the Mushroom Kingdom or random Dragon Quest worlds. It's kind of a missed opportunity. And while this is a Wii game, it does seem kinda low end on the visual side for character models. I mean, they look kinda grainy, but I'm not gonna complain. I can play as a slime and Mario at the same time, so I guess there's points there. As I mentioned before, you'll probably play the game for well over an hour and a half to 2 hours just to beat one stage, and unfortunately the music loops constantly. It's like a 1-minute track, so get used to hearing the same crap over and over again. There actually is a single-player mode, which I don't really know why you want to play by yourself with a whole bunch of annoying computers, but you can, and in so doing you actually unlock more stuff for the game. There's extra characters that you can get, which do nothing besides provide an aesthetically pleasing character to look at, and there's more stages to unlock, but again, it's the same gameplay, you're not changing anything, and there might even be an additional difficulty, which I don't understand, because even on normal, the computer's freaking hard, but if you want to torture yourself, you can. Fortune Street is a weird game, and I don't know if I can really recommend it to everyone. It's definitely not for kids, it's definitely not for casual gamers, it's definitely not a Mario Party game, it's not really a Monopoly game, but it does kind of mesh all those things together into this weird amalgamation of a title. The big allure to me was that it was Mario and Dragon Quest, so if you like both franchises, I mean, there's that going for you. If you're a collector, this is a unique opportunity to get a game that features two major franchises in an otherwise unlikely union. But for everyone else, Fortune Street is probably going to be a pass. That being said, I still enjoyed the game, and I really just want to see one more title come out where they add more of a party function to it, where it's not quite as challenging and a bit more like Mario Party maybe. Something where you can still rely on the stock markets, because that's what gives this game its sort of feel and vibe, but maybe not so much emphasis on losing a lot of money and then being screwed out of the game, or someone getting all the properties and then you're kind of out of it. Maybe more of a party function where there's actual mini games that you can play and not just the nonsense that the game tosses at you randomly. And that could be really fun. I feel like it's kind of a wasted opportunity where you don't get to use the Mario characters and the Dragon Quest characters in unique combinations. They're just sort of there. I mean, it could just be all Mario and the game wouldn't change, or all Dragon Quest and it would be the same thing. So having some sort of functionality between the two would be really cool. You know, maybe Mario can pick up a sword and fight some slimes, or one of the boss characters from the upcoming Dragon Quest X or something can make an appearance, and then links back to the Mushroom Kingdom world and collect stars. You know, something like that would be a really, really neat way to push these two games together. Fortune Street is a really unique game, and I'm very surprised it came out in North America, but it's unlikely we'll see another one, just because the game doesn't have an audience here. Even if you liked it a little bit like I did, there's really no replay value. Like, I don't know if they'd make another one that I would really want unless they changed all those things. If it was just the same thing over and over again, I probably wouldn't play it. And for that matter, after my friends and I had played about 2 or 3 rounds, we were pretty much done. It even came up later as a game that we could play another night that we were gaming, and we were all like, no, we did not want to spend the time doing this. It felt more like work than it was actually a game. We had to think a lot more than we do in, like, you know, a Mario Party or a Monopoly board game, and so it got pushed to the side. Not as the name would imply, this game is not very expensive. It's only a few bucks used, and you can find it pretty readily online or even in some stores. So grab it if you're a collector, if you like Mario, if you like Dragon Quest, it's right up there for you guys, but for everyone else, this is probably a pass. Unless you really love stocks, and investments, and capital gains, and properties. Lots of properties.